you, Elle, and finding something that speaks to you. So I want to kind of, I like how you said that, and I want to get back to that too. I'm going to go on a very quick tangent, and then I'm going to come right back to how we tell our families, or talk to our families about body image, because so many things that people have already said on the panel just inspired me. I had to get a pen and write some of these things down. And even Ashley, when she started talking about addiction, and I think this will come full circle, but I love how she was talking about, I call it voids. So, you know, our brain wants to feel good. It really does. And there are quick ways for the brain to feel good. We know that that's when that chemical dopamine hits the reward center, and that happens with things like whether it's the addictive chemicals in food, or whether it's sex, or whether it's gambling, whether it's video games, or whatever it is. And so when we do have that exposure to that in our life, which we're going to have at certain times, our brain takes note of that. So now enter this concept of what I like to say, void. So when somebody feels that they aren't a good parent, or they aren't comfortable in their marriage, or they're not in a career that they like, or they're not dialed into their faith, or they're not happy with their health, anytime they start to feel that kind of what's wrong with me story in their brain, the brain thinks it's doing you a favor, and it says, I got something that you'll like, and it'll happen very quick. So then over time, that starts to be the de facto standard, or kind of how our brain starts to work. So when we feel almost anything negative, you know, when we feel sad, when we feel hungry, when we feel angry, when we feel lonely, our brain says, I got you. And so I just like to start and say, you know, a lot of times that's your brain, bless its squishy pink heart, is thinking it's doing you a favor by giving you these quick hits. We know though that those then pull us away from our parenting, or in our relationships, or our health, or our faith, or our careers. So just to step back, I mentioned earlier in my intro, I changed careers, and it was because my initial career didn't speak to me. It sounded great. It was computer software. It was the .com days. I was supposed to be having fun. I wasn't, because I just didn't feel that was something that really spoke to me. And so I chased after this new career of becoming a therapist. And when I first became a therapist, my goal was to work with men, and I felt very passionate about that. And the joke I like to tell is that when I became a therapist and I set up shop, guys don't come to therapy. So nobody told me that when I was in that career. But then I start working in addiction, and that's where I find out that there's these voids. So anybody can do behavioral modification. You can say, all right, if you have this thought, go do push-ups, or if you have this thought, go run out in the street, or that sort of thing. But that's when I realized about these voids. So I try to help people become better parents, become better partners, or find a career they like, or become okay with their faith, but really become okay with their health as well. And when you learn therapy, one of the fundamentals is this technique called cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. And everybody's trained in CBT. And CBT says your thoughts lead your emotions lead your behaviors. And I like it. In principle, it's a great thing to teach. What you're typically saying, though, is that when you have a thought, then you need to change the thought. You need to change it to something happy or nice or fun. But then when you get out in the real world, and all of a sudden you're met with the triggers around you, and you try to change your thought, your brain says, you don't really believe that. And so you can teach cognitive behavioral therapy in sessions all day long. So I went to a training a few years ago on something called acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT, and that changed my life, it changed my practice, and that is what I really feel like spoke to me. And I feel like that, 1 minute on that, and then I want to get to the parenting. Acceptance and commitment therapy says, again, you have all the thoughts, feelings, emotions that you have because you're the only person in the world that has your nature, nurture, DNA, birth order, abandonment, rejection issues, failures, people that have died, left, moved, anything. So you have the feelings and emotions that you have because you're human. And so if you didn't have those, that's when I like to say you're a robot or a psychopath. That's my own interpretation. So when you have those feelings, you can't just say, I need to think something different, because that's when your brain says, but that's not real. And then when you have everybody telling you, well, you should think this, or you should do this, I always like to say nobody really likes to be should on, right? And so that's why even when we're trying to talk to somebody, and even when they're playing devil's advocate, or they're trying to tell us what they think would be best for us, we have this automatic, we push back. And it's because we don't feel heard, because nobody really knows what it is like to have our experience, or to feel like we feel. So I like to kind of throw that out there in general, and that's why now let's enter the world of parenting, or we want to talk to our kids about whether it's body positivity or anything, is that our kids are coming to us and they're going to tell us what their experience is. They're going to be vulnerable, they're going to try to be open, and even when we mean well, even if we say, no, you don't really think that, or, don't worry about it, or, well, when I was a kid and I walked uphill both ways in class and bare feet in snow, and it's not like the kid's thinking, wow, that changes my entire perspective on how I feel right now. It doesn't work that way. So when we talk to our kids about anything, the first thing we need to do is listen. And I just feel like that is so important, that seek first to understand before being understood. And I hear parents all the time that say, no, I know what they're going to say. I've been there. Well, you haven't been there, and they're there. You haven't been their age right now with everyone with cell phones, with social media, with peer pressure. You haven't. Your version of that was completely different. I mean, that's just a fact. So the first thing we have to do is truly listen. Listen to our kids. I like to say often, I have a daughter, and she's been on my podcast a couple times, so I'm not breaking confidentiality. She's talked about her depression, and one of the things I love the most is going into a room, and I would always say, I would lay on her floor, and I would say, tell me about your day. And she would tell me things about friends that had said things and did things, and even if in my brain I'm thinking, that's ridiculous, like, you want real problems? If I'm thinking that in my head, I'm not saying that, and I'm not going to launch into well, when I was a kid, I told my friends this, or whatever it is that we want to say as parents. You just listen. You listen and you ask more. You ask, what was that like? Then what did you say? What did that feel like? And when people feel heard, there's an amazing thing going on. When we tell somebody that they shouldn't feel a certain way, and we tell them that this is what I did when I was a kid, what we're really doing is when they don't feel heard, you can literally watch, if we throw a little brain scan on them, prefrontal cortex starts to shut down. And that's that part where, that creative part, the listening part, the I'm going to solve problems part, it starts shutting down. As their heart rate raises, as they feel not heard, as they start to feel frustrated, their heart rate raises, their cortisol level, the stress hormone increases in their brain, and now they're in fight or flight mode. So now all of a sudden it's like, they're not going to hear anything. I mean, I think we've experienced that before, right? And then at that point, we're going to double down on our stories, or we're going to double down on, well, you need to hear this, and all they're doing is in that fight or flight or freeze. So at that point, there's nothing that's getting through. We're frustrated, they're frustrated. We don't know what just happened. We wait till the next day. We wake up and, are they cool? Like, we're cool, right? And then we just never even address some of these things. So we really have to go in and seek first to understand. When somebody feels heard, you can literally watch the little synapses of the brain open up. You can watch the prefrontal cortex light up. And then that's when somebody not only feels like they aren't attacked, but they feel heard. And that's when we're going to start having open discussion. So our job as parents, and I always say this to every parent that I've ever worked with, and I'm not an all or nothing guy, but this is an all or nothing one, black or white statement. Every parent comes in and says, I want my kid to come talk to me about anything. I want to be that parent. But then if their kid comes and says, I smoke pot, I wrecked the car, I got a test, they're like, are you kidding me? Like, what I taught you? And so then the kid now, they know I can't be open about everything, so now I'm going to have to watch the things that I say. And so I really desperately want, as parents, for us to truly have that mindset and then live it, and to be able to say, okay, tell me what's going on. And then we have to do our own mindfulness skills, our yoga practices. We have to get our sleep, we have to eat right, we have to get ourselves in a position so that then as our mind is saying, are you kidding me? You know how much a ticket costs? We keep that one on the inside, And we say, what was that like? Are you safe? Tell me more, Because ultimately when it comes back to body image, we need our kids to feel like they can talk and be heard, because we want to know, what is that like now for you to have people around you posting things, saying things, wearing things? What is that like for you? Because when they feel heard, when they have the secure attachment to you as a parent, that's when they can then start to explore okay, this is what I really believe. This is what I really want to be. I want to pursue movement, or I want to pursue nutrition, or I want to pursue, and it's not our job to say, I wouldn't do that, that's a pretty hard career, right? Because now they're shut down. I mean, when I changed careers at 30, I got some feedback that wasn't very positive. My wife was the most supportive person in the world, but people were like, well, you're in software, this is what you want to do, and you need to stay in this career. And there were times where I was like, well, maybe I do need to just stay in where I'm not happy because other people are telling me. Now I look at that and think, what, was I crazy? And so, but we need to feel heard. We need to have those people that we can go to, and we as parents need to have that relationship with our kids, so that then, we're going to want to tell them, you don't want to think that. You don't want to believe that. That's not going to be good for you, but we have to establish that relationship and rapport and have that safe place to hear them, and then we get to share our, hey, I worry that, or I feel like, or this is my experience. But we're not going to even make any impact until they feel safe and they feel heard. So that's, I really think it's more about building the relationship So I hope you can see kind of where trying to tie all that together, that they're going to have their own, they call them the private experiences and acceptance improvement therapy. It's just a nice way to say all of their nature, nurture, work order, abandonment, DNA, they've got all of that going on as well. And so we need to remember that. We need to recognize that. And so we need to be that person that they feel like they can truly talk to and be open with, so we can get to these harder subjects. Okay, that's it. Thank you.